Today I'm in London with Dr. Mohammed Tahir al-Qadri, who's an influential Muslim cleric from Pakistan, who's just issued a fatwa against terrorism. Dr. Qadri, thank you very much for talking to us today. Now, here in the UK, we mostly know the word fatwa from the one that was issued against Salman Rushdie, for example, following his book, The Satanic Verses. Could you explain what a fatwa actually is?
Fatwa literally means decree and ruling. And this has a very significant place in the sources of Islamic laws and Islamic rulings.
Why are you doing this now? Why, for example, didn't you issue this fatwa after the 9/11 incident, for example?
This is a good question. I normally never issue fatwa. But now I felt this was a time because the terrorism as a wave became much stronger than earlier in Pakistan and that part of the world last year, when the terrorists started slaughtering the people. The terrorists started even killing the people, then taking their dead bodies out of their graves, and they hanged on the trees. And they started bombing everywhere. So the wave became strong, and they captured a particular areas, I mean, you know, the Dir and Sawat, and they took over. And then Pakistan military started an open, very strong operation against them. This was last year. And at that time I found many scholars and many preachers, even many political leaders, religious political leaders, I found them silent on this act of brutality committed by the terrorists.
Can we talk in a bit more detail about what you say in the fatwa? It's a long document, but nowhere in it, as far as we've seen, does it mention jihad, holy war. Why doesn't it? Why did you miss that out?
I have concentrated only on the subject of terrorism, but I have mentioned in my book categorically that this act of terrorism is not jihad.
So in fact, terrorism can't be considered as a part of holy war?
Absolutely not. Let me tell, the holy war is also a wrong translation. That is wrong translation, I would declare, and I think you would be the means to communicate this message first time on to the world. And its meaning is struggle. That's it. The word war is not included in the origin and in the format and in the meaning and implication of word jihad. Jihad is a very wider concept. It means just to strive for, to struggle. Good endeavors, good struggles, good putting whatever energy and abilities you have. If you put all energies and efforts to achieve your good end, that is known as jihad. So there is no place for aggression in concept of jihad. No place of brutality, no place of killing mankind. So the holy war is not the concept, it is holy struggle.
So terrorists, in your opinion, have hijacked the concept of jihad to justify their
Yes, they have hijacked, and they have misguided the people and youth. And their struggle has, or their efforts has no link and relationship with jihad.
You use terms like terrorism and innocent people in your fatwa. These are terms that are hugely open to interpretation. What did you mean by them?
I understand they again create an excuse on the basis of innocent, the word innocent. I would like to make it clear. In case of killing or non-killing, the word innocent has never been used in Quran. This exception of innocent has never been given in Quran and nor in the Sunnah of Holy Prophet, Prophet of Islam. The word in Quran is used, man qatala, auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, man qatala nafsan bighayri nafsin. This is the word used in Quran, not innocent. The word bighayri nafsin, meaning if anybody kills a human being without the lawful right which the court exercises, if the person was an intentional murder, so he was liable to capital punishment. If he is a rebel, so as the punishment of rebellion with killing of man, he is liable to capital punishment. And if he is a terrorist, and he kills the person, so as the punishment of the act of terrorism, he is liable to death punishment. So Quran says, if the case is not falls within these three things, he was neither an intentional murderer, he was not a terrorist or killer of man, or a rebel killing the man. So if anybody kills any person who does not fall within these three categories, so the whole world after this, that is the innocent people. All peaceful populations, all men, non-combatants, those who are not fighting with you one-to-one in the battlefield, then everybody has a right to kill one another in the battlefield. So everybody who is non-combatant and was not liable to death of punishment through death through the court, due course of law. So all human population, societies, people working in embassies, going in the markets, living in their houses, in the schools, the trade centers, the trains, every single person, civilian who is non-combatant, is in fact innocent.
The aim of your fatwa seems to go against everything that suicide bombers and fundamentalists believe about themselves.
Yeah.
Who's it aimed at, and what effect do you think it will have?
Thousands and millions of youngsters, those who are not potential extremists, but they are available. But somebody and the people who are wrongdoer or who are always behind the youth, they can trap them and they can put wrong ideologies in their minds, they can misguide them by using the wrong meanings of this terminology. First of all, this will affect them. They would be clear and they would be never, you can say, kidnapped by the terrorist people. Secondly, thousands of those youth and people who have not been totally brainwashed and who has not become suicide bombers yet, but they are on the same track. They are going on the same road. They are going forward. They are not yet achieved that station, but they are on the same lines. They have become conservative. They are living an isolated life. They believe in isolation. They are not getting integrated. And they have some hatreds developing in their minds, which have these things which have tendency to lead them towards radicalism and then terrorism. These thousands and thousands of youth will stop. And I hope, inshallah, I say, by grace of Almighty God, nobody in the whole Muslim world would be in a position to rebut it. They can disagree with me just in slogans. I can't say with surety about those who are already brainwashed and they are little in number, but much larger in number. Thousands are waiting behind to enter that peace. At least this will stop them, and in future this will have the youth of the Muslim Ummah to be kidnapped towards that side. This will give a very, very big effect on Islam and humanity.
And let's talk about what's increasingly becoming known as Islamophobia, particularly in Europe. Geert Wilders, who's a Dutch politician, he's made a film which says that the Quran is a fascist book. What would you say to him? I
think if these are the same kind of activities which not Osama and Taliban, but their supporters and their well-wishers are doing about Islam against non-Muslims. If in Western world some people start doing the same kind of thing, it will not help in development of the peace process. It will again create hatred. So the question is, what would be the end? What they want to achieve out of that? Just hatred? Just reactions? Just further disputes? Just further clashes? And further division of humanity?
There's quite a lot of opposition to Islam in Europe at the moment. The Swiss, for example, have banned the building of more minarets. France is talking about banning the burqa. Do you think that Europe is ready to accept Islam?
The best solution for peaceful atmosphere for the mankind is multiculturalism. There should be full democracy, freedom of religions, freedom of cultures, except no freedom for terrorism. No freedom for extremism, no freedom of creating brutalities and creating divisions in the society. The first Islamic society and state created by Prophet Muhammad, Prophet of Islam, in Medina was a multicultural society. He started this society and state from an alliance with Jews and Christians and their allied tribes. And their local customs, their cultures, their traditions, their religions and their customary laws were given guaranteed protection. Everybody would live according. So Quran says, Lakum dinukum waliya deen. This is a very full-fledged surah on freedom of religion in 30th part of Quran. And I'm quoting just the last verse. The full surah is on freedom of religion. Quran says, Lakum dinukum waliya deen. Holy Prophet declared, you are free in your religion and we are free in our religion.